Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. Today I was watching the markets. They were going around like a yo-yo, and towards the end, half of them kind of recovered, at least on our watch list. So things are in a bit of a flux. It seems that we are in a holding pattern, waiting some key data points. So let's go ahead and have a look at what's happening in the market and what to expect today, that is Tuesday. Let's get started. Welcome back, friends. In January, Microsoft had come out with its intention to invest around $9 billion, if I'm not mistaken, in ChatGPT maker OpenAI. And elsewhere in interviews, CEO Satya Nadella had spoken about incorporating AI into the Office suite. And it seems that the AI battle is heating up because in response, today we had a news release that said Google CEO Sundar Pichai has rallied his teams to get their AI chatbot, which is called Bard, B-A-R-D, to be ready for the limelight. We already have ChatGPT plugins for browsers, and I'm planning to test drive a few of them in the coming weeks. This morning, Microsoft is scheduled to announce some new information related to ChatGPT, and that could potentially be a catalyst for the Microsoft stock, in my opinion. In response to the gigantic employment numbers, if you recollect, the stock market fell, and now they seem to be trying to be in a holding pattern as they await word from the Fed chief, Powell, today at noon. His statements would be parsed very closely, and there might be a little bit of volatility before the market determines its directions. Meanwhile, as you can see, stocks momentarily rise. Please remember that fundamentals are weak and do not justify exuberance as yet. And the immediate risk is the debt ceiling drama, which is set to gradually unfold in the coming months. So let's take a look at the good old fear and greed index that we used to watch on a daily basis earlier. When things were absolutely scary. It's been a long time, so let us look at our old indicators. First, we'll look at the fear and greed index, and then we'll take a look at the stock market heat map. Here we are in the fear and greed index, and as you can see, we are showing extreme greed at this point of time. And if you look at the market momentum, it's pretty high, and we have this 125-day moving average out here, which is the orange line that we can see here. So we are still above it, and there's a good chance that we might bounce off it. So let's hope for the best. And next, let us look at the stock heat map. So here I have the year-to-date performance for our stocks, and as you can see, all our technology stocks and communication services and financials are in green. Consumer cyclical is also in green, whereas the defensive ones like consumer defensives, energy, utilities, and healthcare, they are all looking red. So typically when we are headed into a recession, these are the ones that should be greener and the others should be going red. So from a year-to-date perspective, we seem to be in a better situation than a recession. But now if we start moving to 1 month, like 1 month ago, what was our performance? Again, 1 month ago also we were looking quite bullish, and our consumer defensive, oil and gas, healthcare, all these staples have become red. So that is contrary to what we are expecting. We are expecting a soft landing or a recession. In those situations, I think the consumer defensive, healthcare, those should go up. Let us look at the 1 week performance. And in the 1 week performance, you can see a swinging back into a recessionary outlook because all these are becoming red. And let us look at what's happening in the 1 day performance. Everything is red, but the bright spot here is Tesla, which has gained 2.5%. So there must be some news out there. JP Morgan and Gilead, yeah. So Gilead has gained 2.20. So that's what we have here. And our futures are looking pretty good at this point of time. And let us have a closer look at these. Each of these candles are a 1 day candle. Let me go into NASDAQ futures. And as you can see here, I'm going to expand this. As you can see here, we have a bullish candlestick pattern from, if you look at it from a Japanese candlestick point of view. This would be termed as a bullish harami, which means that there is going to be a move upwards. And also we are seeing here the futures are up 0.24, and we have plenty of room for the RSI to go before it gets overheated, and our MACD is also bullish. Now, if we were to go in and have a look at our indicators, I'm going to look at oil. Let us start with oil. Oil is facing resistance in this bear channel that we were in for the longest time, and I hope it pushes downwards and does not break through above it. Even if it did, we are going to have a resistance out here. This line, which was a bull channel earlier, is now going to become the resistance. And if you look at QQQ still has not come back to this zone of resistance that we have. We had this channel, which was our consolidation channel for the longest time since 13th of September, and we broke out of it, and we still are way far away from there. So I'm hoping that despite whatever Fed Chairman Powell says, unless it is too bad, we are likely to come down here and bounce back up again. That's my hope. And I think RSI can go up further, though it is pointed down right now. If it were to change course, it has plenty of room before it gets overbought, so we could potentially carry on this upward trend. But a little bit of correction is overdue out here because it's a very steep bullish channel. We need something closer to 45 degrees for it to be more reliable and sustainable. S&P 500 is also looking good. It's still on the bull channel. I won't complain too much about it. Russell index has come down sharply a bit. But it still has got support out here. There are two levels of support. One is at 191.38. Let me make this line thicker so that you can see them. And let me do this also. Yeah. Next, let's go on to Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is looking at breaking through this bullish pennant out here. It's a bullish pennant because it's on a bull trend, which is an upward trend. And it's struggling very hard to break through. And even if tomorrow, whatever Powell says, if this comes down, I'm hoping that it gets bounced off from this line of support out here to eventually break out on the top side. So I'm looking optimistic there. And if you look at VIX, VIX has been pushed down by the 19.75 resistance. And I'm going to make this a bit thicker for you guys in case you're not able to see it in your device. Our next resistance is down here at 18.57, and the resistance above that is going to be up here at 22.73. Our momentum is picking up, even though it's below average. It's looking a bit dangerous. We want VIX to continue to go down. We want it to push down from that resistance, and this is going to be green because this is a support. The support is at 18.57. Ideally, we want it to go down below 18.57 and consolidate somewhere below 18.57. If you look at the US dollar index, it's continuing to go up. It has broken through the bear channel, and now I have marked that as a support for the US dollar index. And whenever US dollar index goes up, the money is coming from the other sectors of the economy, and that's why we saw the stocks go down. Now let's look at our market movers. And if you look at Microsoft, it had fallen around 0.61%. That's not too much, but it's fallen a little bit, and it has covered the gap up that it had made, so it's perfect. There's plenty of room for the RSI to be running before it gets overheated. And we also have a bullish MACD, so I'm optimistic about Microsoft. Apple also came down a little bit, but it has not yet covered the gap up out here. The gap up is very minor, but it needs to be covered. And we can see that here we are RSI was overheated and it has just about come down. So Monday it might cool a little bit, but it will stay. I am hoping that it will stay within the price range that it was on 3rd of February, which is a Friday. And then if you look at Amazon, Amazon came down, it did the gap fill, and it has come down further. And momentum has fallen drastically, even though it's above average. We need the momentum to pick up, and there seems to be a little bit of a recovery on Monday, and it's most likely to pick up further unless we have bad news from Papa Powell. And if you look at Google, Google was down 1.6%, and it's just about filled the gap up that it had. So now it's well poised to move up, but in the process it has converted this support into resistance. It needs to break through that resistance. MACD is bullish, but momentum has dropped. Still, momentum has plenty of room to move up. So I'm optimistic for Google as well. But Google is likely to get a little bit of price pressure Tuesday, in my opinion, because of Microsoft ChatGPT announcement. And we also have a gap up here in Google which has not been filled. So I wouldn't say Google is looking that strong. And next, if we were to look at the FANG index, 3x, BMO 3x FANG index, that is FNGU, it's continuing to come down, and it has got support at 75.55. The RSI was overheated and it cooled down a little bit. MACD is still bullish, so this has got an opportunity to consolidate and then move up further. Now let's go on to look at our genomics shares. And where is the genomics out here? Yeah, we have got it sorted. IMTX is at the very top and it's being pushed down by the resistance at 8.80. And MACD is bullish and momentum is above average. Let me see if there is any new news driving it. No, there is no news since November 17th. SQZ Biotech has got a bad news out here. It has got a notice regarding continued listing standards from the New York Stock Exchange. So we need to watch this closer. So if any of you have the SQZ Biotech stock, you need to dig down deeper into this news. Here is the actual notice on SQZ Biotech's investor website. It was posted on 18th January. We did not take a look at it, so it was a miss on our part. So from 18th of January to 18th of February is the time that is given to SQZ Biotech to cure a deficiency. The deficiency is basically that the company's common stock was less than $1 over a consecutive 30-day trading period. And the company will get 1 month's time to rectify. And the company has got to come up with a plan and inform the stock exchange what it plans to do. So friends, we are on the 6th of February. So we got 12 more days. And if we look at the SQZ Biotech stock price at this point of time, it's still at 0.849. I have not seen it get to the $1 mark, and it needs to get to the $1 mark. So we'll have to see what SQZ Biotech is going to do. And if it does not obtain that, is it going to be delisted? So those of you who have got SQZ Biotech stock, please take a note and take necessary corrective actions. And that said, I think I would like to look at Intelia, which was up 1.43%, but still struggling with the resistance at 43.64. It ended at 43.85, too close to call. MACD is bullish, momentum is also pretty good, so it should be able to move up. I don't see any new news out here for Intelia, and CRISPR was up 0.43%, and it's on a nice bull channel. Of course, I would like the bull channel to be a little bit less steep. Ideally, it should be around 45 degrees like we had before, but we'll take what we get. And there is also a support line out here at 54.47 to hold back CRISPR. And on a day, Monday, when everything was going down, CRISPR was up. So that's a pretty neat achievement in my books. RSI has plenty of room to move up further, and we have got the earnings release coming up on 14th of February. So if they come up with any bad news or anything dubious, then things are going to fall down. So we are hoping for the best. I hope there is some news about the sickle cell therapy and where it is at, because that's one of the good news that CRISPR can come up with, and that could be a potential positive catalyst for the stock. And Bluebird was up 0.15% and still struggling to break through 6.86, which is our next resistance out here. And MACD is bullish, but momentum is below average, and that's a big problem for Bluebird. Beam Therapeutics was down minus 1.11%, but I am comfortable that we have a bull channel which is still way below the current price, and it can support it. MACD is bullish and momentum is also above average, so we'll take the beatings. And the revenue reports, Q4 report will come out on 27th February 2023. So we'll have to see whether they meet the EPS estimate of minus 1.357 and the revenue estimate of 12.713 million. That's what will determine the future of this stock. If there is a disappointment out there, then it's likely to come down, because for this year, I don't see Beam coming up with any monetization of any of its therapies. Editas was down 1.24% and still on a very, very steep bull channel that needs to cool off a little bit. And we have support at 9.65. So that's going to be a big positive for the stock at this point of time. MACD is bullish, and momentum had got, RSI had got overheated, and it had to cool down a little bit. So let us see what happens tomorrow. I'm not confident of predicting a up move for Editas tomorrow. Then we look at Allogene, which was down 1.41%, still on a bull channel. And we have the stock price coming down for 2 consecutive days. MACD is still bullish and momentum is still above average. Fate Therapeutics is down 1.46%. It's kind of consolidating. I mean, the candles are so small that we need a magnifying glass for this. I'm going to expand it. And it's got a bearish candlestick pattern out here. So tomorrow the share is, today the share is likely to go down. In my opinion, ARCG is down 2.04%, and in the process it has fallen below the support of 34.73. So that has now become a resistance. And MACD is bullish and momentum is also above average. So there is a good chance that ARCG will recover. But it all depends on what happens with the market sentiment tomorrow post Chairman Powell's speech. Caribou Biosciences down 2.11%, still on a bullish channel. MACD is bullish and momentum is also above average, not looking too bad. PSEB is still on the bullish pennant, and trading is very, very tightly range bound on the last 2 trading days. So there is an expectation of some catalyst. I think our catalyst is going to come with the earnings, which is going to happen on the 16th of February. And a bullish pennant usually breaks out on the upper side. So eventually I'm hoping PSEB is going to break out on the upside. Illumina is down 2.59% and it's being held by the support of 208.37. And MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is also just about average. It's looking a bit weak at this point of time, and we have the earnings coming on Tuesday, that is today, and this is going to determine what's going to happen to the share price of Illumina. I hope they have some news for us, like that they're going to let go of the Grail acquisition and they're going to focus on their Osno and further improvements. Those kind of news is likely to be a positive catalyst, and I'm hoping for the best. Let us see what happens to Illumina tomorrow. Verve was down 3.09%, and MACD is bullish and momentum is above average, but still at this point of time our support at 22.47 is what is holding us up here. I'm going to make this line a bit thick for you guys to have a look at in smaller devices. This line also I'll make it a bit thicker. So that's the situation out here. Let us see if there is any news. There is no news for Verve. Teladoc was down 3.54%. Invitae was down 4.58%. The cup and handle pattern for Invitae has expired. Our support has become resistance at 2.56, and the stock has fallen down further. And we have the next support, which is coming at 2.15. MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is just above average, ready to fall. We have the earnings coming up on 13th of February, and the EPS estimate is 0.551 and the revenue estimate is 121.23. Anything short of that is likely to push us down unless they come up with some blockbuster news. DNA is down 4.85%. It's quoting at 1.96 as of close Monday. And our next support is going to be 1.82. MACD is still bullish, but momentum is falling, even though it's above average. And if you look at Bionano Genomics, it was down 5.35%, just about holding on to the support at 1.78. It ended at 1.77. MACD is bullish, but tending towards the signal line. Momentum has just dropped below average. So again, the cup and handle pattern here has fizzled out and it is dead. So we just have to let go of it. I'm going to just delete the cup and handle pattern and all the vestiges out there because we don't need that. It's gone. So friends, that brings me to a kind of end of the technical session. But I was pleasantly surprised when I was watching Business News Network today. And I have a clip here of expert Tony Dwyer. Watch the clip and I'll speak to you afterwards. You can see Tony also expressing the same kind of conflict that I was expressing. So in a way, I feel that I'm in good company.
In 2022, everybody came into 2022. You got to be long the FANG stocks. It's a new, generational move in them. And then they came into 2023 with you've got to be long the cyclical stocks because there's a high prospect of a soft landing. The problem with that too, John, is since the beginning of the year, the cyclical stocks that would reflect a better economy have underperformed. Even the materials have underperformed now. So you're in this situation where the market is sending so many mixed signals. Listen, people like me love to come on TV and tell you, with high conviction of what's going to happen. Buddy, I don't know at this point, because you've got very clear recession indicators. When the yield curves are inverted like this, when the leading economic indicators are this negative, you've always gone into recession. But then on the other side of the trade, when you've had a breadth thrust like this, which our own Javed Mirza has pointed out, when you've had this kind of breadth thrust, it's an indication of a new bull market. John, I don't know which one's right. Here's what I know. We're already up 10% from more than 10% from the low, and I get paid 5% to try and figure it out.
Right.
Not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's helpful context. Before I let you go, though.
Well, friends, I agree with Tony Dwyer, whom you saw in the last clip, and he's essentially saying the same thing that I concluded, but in different words. I'm saying that the technicals look bullish despite a weak fundamentals backdrop, and the fundamentals can trump technicals any day. And the way the market is moving right now in a bullish manner is not consistent with the technicals. And also don't forget that we have the debt ceiling issue also hanging over us, which will unfold over the next 3 to 4 months. So I'm thinking that the market could be doing a head fake on us. We have to be very, very careful. So please let me know what you guys think about this mixed message that we are getting from the fundamentals as compared to the technicals, and what is your opinion. Put it in the comment below. And that's all from me for now today. And guys, I know that there's been a little bit of an audio hiccup today, but I'll have that in order tomorrow. Tomorrow the audio is going to be perfect. It was just getting into this new space. I have to put a little more of dampening in the room to control the audio, and everything will be fine. I have mastered the audio, so I'm confident I can guarantee that. So with that, friends, I'd like to say bye for now. Have a nice day, and I'll catch up with you later.